Welcome back to the M3 podcast. Whole new studio here. This is studio number 6.
Wow, time flies.
Yeah. And this is not the end-all be-all of this studio, but we were going to roll with it. I got to make sure I don't talk with my hands going somewhere with the mic way out here. So, no, this is new home studio. I've really wanted this up and going. So we've taken a little bit of a hiatus from the podcast, having business owners on. Rick and I have been hitting a bunch of the office. And, so we don't really have a set topic for today. We're going to kind of hit what we've got going on with MMG and everything else and go from there. So appreciate you guys all being on.
Thanks for having us this time. I feel like I've been kicked off for about 30 episodes. Thanks for having me back.
You're off probation and you're back.
The probation station over here.
To be fair, though, you did insert yourself quite a bit from the couch. There's a lot of times you'd come in from like the outfield and like throw in some comments. So I feel like you weren't completely off.
Fair comments.
All fair comments, just usually couldn't hear them.
I needed a mic from the couch. If I had this back then, dude, game over.
I do really enjoy the comfort of doing this at home, where I can have my slippers on and everything else. It's I feel like it's a lot more relaxing, and I feel that I get way more into the correct state of mind to do this. I do think our ones at the office, I do like where those go. They're a lot shorter, very detailed, and we've got a lot of great feedback from those. So I think we're going to a state where we're going to have both of these coming out weekly. You can get more into the relaxed vibe at the house. We're sitting back having some drinks, and not Ricky, he's having a little coy, but just kind of hanging out and enjoying it. And it's not going to be as calculated. And you can, if you want a quick 30-minute super calculated one, you can listen to that one each week.
So the ones that you're having here, does that mean you're going to have guests back on?
Yep. I'm ready for that. I feel like we've acquired a lot of new guests lately that I have a feeling it's going to be pretty easy to keep this full for a while. Mm-hmm. But so, state of things happening MMG-wise. I feel like that's a lot. So, where you guys want to start?
It's been a ride.
Yeah, this year flew by. I don't know how anybody else feels, but it seems like 2025 has been a little bit of a blur. In a good way, we've been progressing pretty fast, but it's crazy that we're already closing out 2025.
Yeah. I look at a lot of these podcasts too, that when we have the MMG check-ins and what's happening, it might not be the cup of tea for everybody listening, but it's also a great thing for us to go look back at in the future, to be like, that's where we were at that point, and just to have that check-in. But
yeah, I mean, I think my mind automatically goes to, I mean, we're halfway through November right now. We're coming up to the end of the year. Q4 is about to wrap up. And thinking back to, I mean, it's almost 12 months ago that we opened the sales office, right? January 2nd was opening of the doors, and we've learned a lot. And we've kind of already identified the things that we have done well, identified the things that we're going to grow into and get better at. So I guess just kind of looking back on that, where do you immediately go as far as like what I wish I would have known a year ago when it comes to really leaving the process of how MMG was built to really try to open up a sales department and grow faster? What are some things you wish you would have done differently, things you've learned, things that you're thinking of in 2026?
I feel like something that really happened in 25 was I really felt that I had not even myself, I feel like we as a team had a really good grasp on our processes via the marketing and the content side. So I know that the sales office was the new piece of the puzzle that we introduced. But with that, what happened was a faster growth rate than what we were experiencing, which ultimately in return showed us all the flaws we had on the other side. And I feel that the sales side is like actually just getting started. I feel like we're just getting it rolling to what it needs to be. And I feel like we've almost sacrificed the sales office to develop the marketing and the content side. And it's hard to look at because I look at we've had a lot of great people come through the sales office, and the churn has been pretty steep on staffing on that side. But the marketing and the content side, I really feel like has found their flow and found what they needed to, which ultimately in the grand scheme of all of it, the product and the service needs to be what it needs to be because that's client facing. Client side, they don't give a rat's ass about what we have going on in our sales office. Client facing, they care what's going on in the marketing and the content side. So now that we have that under control and have systematically is set up for scale in both departments, now I feel really comfortable about throwing a lot of resources at the sales office. And I think that was just, I don't know, I think it's something that comes with growing and comes with evolving is, I thought we had something for scale. I think I projected that out. I think deep down I had doubts, and those doubts I had came to fruition.
I think the sales office allowed us to break the system internally we're essentially adding one extra step to the process, another line of communication, and figuring out how to navigate those waters from what I've seen was challenging in the beginning, but also allowed for us to build another relationship with business owners that isn't as much business related, but more so to become that person that they can call all the time. And with that step from the sales office and that individual taking that initiative has taught us a lot of new things and allowed us to switch up internal processes that we didn't know were broke yet.
Ultimately, what we got to do is throw mass pressure on the marketing and the content side, and we saw where the leaks were, we saw where it was breaking, and we just kept doing it over and over and fixing one thing at a time. And now it's led us to here. That now we onboard 5+ accounts in a week, it doesn't skip a beat. 6 months ago, we onboard 5 accounts in a week, it was a disaster. So I think going through that phase, because I think most people, I get a lot of questions on the sales office. That was the new building. That was the flashy object. That was the thing that we talk a lot about. That's the thing that kind of got front and center. And if I look at 2025, the biggest flop of 2025 is our sales office. Ultimately, it's generating more than what we were doing, but organically, and our referral side has climbed so quickly that it offsets it. But I don't know. I look at the sales office as a year as kind of a failure, but a huge learning piece. And it's a fucking cool spot. That's for damn sure. But
It's definitely a cool spot, especially now with our new conference table.
Yep.
Shout out Jake from LeGrand Metalworks.
Yep.
New conference table looks pretty sweet if you haven't seen it already.
And the receptionist desk. But no, I love the sales office. I love what it is. And I don't know. I think it's hard because in my eyes, an office was going to make this. I think duplicating culture over locations was something that I really struggle with. And I've really had to work on letting go of the other office, not in a way of I don't know. It's
Distancing, I think is the word. Distancing yourself from the other office to
no, but it's always
prioritize.
been. It's like my pride and joy. Like HQ is like my pride and joy of what MMG's energy is supposed to be.
But you can't love the firstborn more than the secondborn. Like you gotta
I've
love
done
them
that.
both equally. And basically what you're saying is that you've definitely loved the first child more than the second child. And right now we need to give the second child a little more love and attention at the moment to get.
I still love the first child more.
That's okay. But the second child is needing some more of your attention.
Yes.
more of our attention just collectively as a team to get it where we know it needs to be.
Yeah. And I agree 100%. And it was just something that HQ, I feel at home. I feel like there's an energy that office carries that there's been days I go to the sales office, I'm in a shitty mood, and I'm like, you know what? I'm heading to HQ. I get to HQ, when I drive in that place, I just feel like it's another level of what it is. And we have to turn the sales office into being the same thing. That it's and ultimately one day it's going to be something where they all merge back together. But what I want to make sure of is one day when they all merge back together and we have a fantasy factory, we're not bringing in some piss poor culture from over here with this awesome culture over here. It's just an absolute mess when it's a fire and ice when they meet. So, excuse me. So that is something I think about a lot, and I've just recently in the last, 4 weeks, we've allocated a lot more resources and what it takes to truly move that office forward for what it needs to be. But I don't know. I think we're we got a lot of things happening, that's for sure. But I think we're in a really good place for it to all be happening. That was a good question. What would I do different? I think did I run off on that? Come back to that. Love both children equally. Don't deprive the second born. That's what happened to Dre.
I feel like I'm doing pretty good.
You gonna wrap off another? That's a big question to follow up.
Following up off of that one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess now more so looking forward into 2026. I mean, even just looking across the room here, we all kind of think about different things and different priorities and things like that. But to really think of hitting the ground running in 26 and thinking about us coming back and revisiting the same conversation a year from today, what does a successful Q1 look like?
I'm gonna let Ricky kick it off.
Yeah, we're starting to build out a lot more of our sales process. You'd think that'd be something we'd have figured out by now, and it hasn't quite taken shape like that. So we're kind of refining and relaunching our sales process 2.0. So that should be moving very efficiently come Q1. So that means starting to get the right people on the team and staffing up the sales side in Q1.
I like that. You got yours yet, Dre? Don't be bankrupt. Don't go bankrupt.
Well, before we do that, just going back to Rick, because even though Dane kind of summarized it as he sees that the sales office didn't render the success that he wanted, but you individually have had a really good 2025, and you individually have had seen a lot of success. What do you attribute to your success of what you've done 2025, whether it be the consistency of what you do or the skill set that you've developed? What do you think are the things that have helped you see consistent success while collectively as a team, we don't feel that we've succeeded in that office?
Yeah, I think kind of the leverage point that I had going into it is just the knowledge from working in different parts of the business beforehand. And what we didn't do very well at the beginning of this year was arming our sales team with that knowledge. We didn't do a good job of packaging that all up into something that's digestible and easy for them to actually put into use. We just kind of assumed they would have all that knowledge, and we kind of gave them a little bit of some coaching there. But I think now that we're building out more of that structure and they're armed with, one, the right things to say and the right solutions that we have in our tool belt to deploy to actually have impact for the business, but also to know when to put those into place and how to do the whole cadence. Like, it's not as simple as just giving somebody a call. Like, oftentimes you're going to have to figure out how to get a hold of somebody different than just calling them to talk about marketing. Because, spoiler alert, probably nobody wants to talk to you about marketing. But now that we have more knowledge on what does work, we have a better game plan and a better playbook to put people into.
And also to clarify, when I say I feel like the sales office was a failure in my mind, there's been standout people there. That I'm going to call you Ricky, not Rick, but what Ricky has done this year is the standard of what I want people over there to be doing. So, like, if I can say my biggest win for 2025 is just the overall development of our leadership team and how much everyone on that team has stepped up and developed as individuals. I think that's where majority of my confidence comes from, because I'm so confident in that room of leaders. So the sales office as a whole, I think I will take full ownership that it failed because we didn't develop out the systems that Ricky's talking about. We didn't develop out those things, even though Ricky was standing out and doing the things that we had discussed him doing. It also, if I can take one big, huge win of 25 for that office, is we at least now know what the standard's supposed to look like. So if 2025 yielded that one thing, then I'll say it was a success, because we know now what the benchmark is that we're going after. So just to kind of clarify that not everything of that was a failure, but I feel like I failed of what I gave to it.
Right.
That I look back at the year that I didn't give my effort that I should have to it.
Yeah, and we also have really high expectations and standards. So, like, what a lot of companies would probably consider a success is not exactly what we would consider a success.
Correct. That ultimately, over the year, we've still like 5x'd in size, but most people would be like, oh my God. And I'm like,
it was supposed to be 40.
Yeah, it was supposed to be a lot more than that. But I think that's also when you quote the 10X book or whatever, when you set the goal so high and you still fall short of it, you still overcame what most people's average goals are. So our goal is always lofty enough that we really never catch it. But yeah.
So what was the question?
I bought you more time, Dre.
What was the question?
Thinking about success a year from today, just what are the things you were hoping to accomplish, and what does success look like in Q1 hitting the ground running? I'm just kind of giving you like an either or kind of option here.
Q1 into essentially Q4 this year, one thing I've been primarily focusing on, I think that'll lead essentially to more success than anything, is I've been trying to, over the last month, focus more on the people, of how to grow them as individuals and not give my feedback as quickly as I have been used to, and kind of having pushed them down the path to the answer. Sitting in on more meetings, not giving input, but kind of see how management or leadership and the managers we're building within the company, how they're handling situations, just to kind of build and guide of how I believe MMG should be projected and be where our success is leading and how they can build themselves up as well. So that's one thing I've started doing over the last month, and then was my primary focus for Q4, prepping for Q1, of having our managers be the best managers they can be, whether that's supportive, also hard at times to make sure things are hitting deadlines, making sure stuff's not being missed, because we have seen stuff fall through the cracks that shouldn't have fell through the crack, and at the end of the day, that is our fault. So figuring out how the system is built to essentially break it and build it back better for the future. So that's what I've been focusing on over the last leading into Q4.
So to piggyback off a little bit on that is, I'm going to say something I've focused a lot on this year that I'm focusing more on next year too, and I just keep kind of not so much reiterating it, but just speaking to myself about it every day, is ultimately not letting work dominate my life. And I think I've been really guilty of that for a long time. And I was actually sitting with somebody having cigars Friday, and he asked me, and he was like, what's your biggest fear of business? And I was like, or he asked me, what's your biggest goal? started asking me about fears and stuff like that. And I told him, I was like, my biggest fear is actually like losing myself. I'm like, you get so caught up in the movement of everything that's happening, and sometimes you just lose who you are. And I've like really focused on backing myself up and not getting so caught up in all of it that it gets fast sometimes. It gets something that like you said, 2025 was like it started and it's gone. That only happens so many times before it's all done. Where it's really backing up, focusing on what's important and saying like, business isn't the end all be all. I'm not defined by what business looks like day in and day out. So my thing's actually going to be different. I've really started leaning on the people around me to be great, and what the leadership side does and what the leadership side grows and develops, what I pour into that group of people to be great is ultimately what's going to yield the outcome of what MMG becomes. I'm not going to sacrifice my whole entire life for a company. And I want to be a great husband. I want to be a great brother, a great son, a great friend, all these things. And I've made some drastic moves in Q3, Q4 that is going to set me up going into next year I love entertaining people. I love working out with people in the morning. I love people being over here. Like, I love this. This is so fun. I want more of this. Where like I've started telling Madison, I'm mapping out my life for it to look the way I want it to. And the last 5.5 years, I've only focused on mapping out what MMG looks like. And I think it's put me in a great spot. So I'm not going to say I've done the wrong thing. But I got to start helping people map out what their lives look like to get them to that position to find what true peace is. And I think when I focused on those things, that Mass and I have a happy hour every Friday at 5:30. Nobody else, just the two of us in the bourbon room, that we talk about our week. It doesn't have to be work-related. It doesn't have to be anything. I've focused on not talking about work when I come home and just being present. And it's like going out hunting this weekend and sitting in a tree stand for, I probably put in every bit of 12 hours this weekend. Missed a great buck on Saturday because I suck. But
that buck thanks you.
Yeah, he thanks me for me sucking. But it's just, those are the things that are important. Those are things that bring me true happiness. And I don't know, that's every quarter, every day, every week, I'm focusing more and more on that. And it's wild, as I've focused more on that, it's everything else tends to be putting itself in place where it needs to be.
I think that's a great mindset to be in, right? Because it's so easy given what we do and how serious all of us are about it, right? There's so many people that we work with that are not easily just clock in at 9, 5 o'clock hits, and they can just turn it all off, go about their lives on a Friday, and then they just don't think about it until Monday morning. Like, I know I'm not that person. There's a lot of people who aren't that way. So to try to make that a goal is really important, especially given the seat that you're sitting in.
And I'm not saying that I'm going from like a 9 to 5 mindset.
Right, of course. But you get what I'm saying, though.
It's also, I think it's levels of power. It's the levels of thinking. When you can say, I can sit here and be 100% present with you. I can give you 100% of my attention right now. There's power in that. And I think I used to think it had to be one extreme or the other. That 3-4 years into MMG, I'm like, maybe the person at Burger King has something figured out. I was like, they get to leave at 5 and turn it off. I'm like, maybe they're on to something.
Yeah, I feel like there are times where you drift to a binary mindset of like all in or all out. Or it's like it's this extreme or that extreme. And there's no finesse in the middle. There's no nuance. It's all in or all out.
And I think it's when you're searching for happiness in something that you don't have. I think people get so obsessed with searching for happiness in something else. People do it in relationships. People do it material items. People do it all the time. They think they buy a nicer car that they're going to find more happiness. They think that they get the new watch. It's going to, and like, I've done all the things. I've bought the cars. I've bought I don't think I can buy a car that gives me anything more than the cars I have.
Drive a Mitsubishi Outlander for a while and then get upgraded to an F-150. Tell you what, I'm a little bit happier every fucking day, buddy. every fucking day, I'm a year into that thing. Every day, I'm a little bit fucking happier.
There's a lot of happiness that comes from enjoying the vehicle you get into every day.
I will say
there's a happiness in that where it's like when you get excited to go get in your car.
Yeah,
it's weird, but you get excitement out of it.
I mean, there are just random fucking days. I walk out the front door, and I just went through the car wash the night before. I'm like, God damn, that's a good looking truck.
You give it kind of a second glance when you're walking back.
I'm like,
I'm going to say that there's a benefit of driving nice vehicles. I'm going to say I am a sucker for that, but there's also a level to where it doesn't really get any farther. The pinnacle of it isn't that high.
Kind of some diminishing returns.
Yes.
Yep.
So it gets to a spot, and I'm like, and I tell people, like, and it sounds super, like, arrogant and not, like, but, like, vehicles and, like, they don't give me any excitement anymore. I was in the car business for a long time, so I bought, like, $400,000 worth of vehicles a week. Like, on average.
He did get excited about cars for about 4 years.
But I'm saying after doing that for so long, you lose that, like, ether. So vehicles don't give me any excitement. And it sounds bad, but, like, I do like driving nice things. I'm not saying my day-to-day, if, like, there was a point in college that Mass and I rode around on a scooter and I had fucking $20 in my name and I was fucking happy as pie. Like, so if you can enjoy the happiness and you can enjoy life at the lowest points, you can enjoy it at the highest points, but also making sure you don't ever lose sight of what the true values of happiness look like. And I think that's, I don't know, there's levels to the game, and I look at the things that I do that for a long time, Mass and I looked at other houses, and I was like, more square footage, I'm not going to find happiness in more square footage. I'm like, you can take what we have. And I'm like, I loved our house that we sold to Dre. That house was like everything to me. And I remember when we listed it, Madison cried. And when we got to have the opportunity to sell it to Dre and Samantha to have that, it meant the world to her. But it was like we weren't searching for more square footage. This gave us other opportunities for having people over, for having the podcast where it's separated from the house, having the home gym, having the pool, having space. Like, there was a lot of additional pluses. We weren't just searching for, like, square footage on a home. So I think it's also, like, figuring out what those things actually mean to you and, like, what you're searching for. And like I said, I do this fucking every day.
I think everyone has their own happiness, and it does change. And that's where it's like, what made me happy at the beginning of this year does not make me the same level of happiness now. Weird, but it's like I went through it. I either got it or I didn't, and then I'm like, I'm just not as intrigued by it anymore. It just changes along the way.
It's the hedonic treadmill, man. That's dangerous.
Well,
that's
it's
what
like
people get caught up in. It's the same exposure just doesn't have the same response because it's not new anymore. There's no nuance.
We were talking about this earlier today. It's like, or was it Monday, where it's like when we were in the basement first starting off, if we got something with like 1,000 views, we were like tickled pink. Now it's like something hits 2 million views. We're like, that's what we should be doing. So it's just like in the basement, we'd be like, dude, we're killing it.
If you're wondering who said that, that was me.
And that was this morning.
Spoken by a very wise individual.
That was this morning.
But I think a good way to bring that back full circle there is I've heard comments here about like wanting to see other people win too, right? Like you talking about seeing Dre and Sam like moving into their position now, and we've kind of had that off podcast too, talking about Rick and Lauren becoming parents for the first time and things like that. I guess what do you guys think of when it comes to the culture of MMG, and for the people who really embody the things that we believe in, like wanting to see other people win being such a genuine thing. So I mean, like even for example, when I started seeing someone new, I mentioned it to Dre. Dre's immediately on top, like this restaurant, you should go to here, you should go here. He's pulling up links. He's calling Sam, being like, hey, like what was the one place we went to that was really cool? And you were one of the first people I told you about that I started seeing somebody, and immediately like every conversation after that was, how's that going? How's that going? Right. And then it's just like that consistent thing of like wanting to see people win. And I feel like the people who really find a home at MMG embody that too, and wanting to see people around them do well and knowing that your success doesn't take away from mine. Right. And then, that all ships rise together, whatever the phrase is, right? Yeah. Rising tides raise all ships. What do you guys think it is about the culture of MMG that the people who really embody it love seeing other people win? Or do you think that that's also something that people develop while they're here, where they start to realize, hey, the person next to me winning doesn't take away from me?
I think there's two forefronts to it. I look at it as something I've just always enjoyed is I love seeing other people's excitement. Like, I just truly enjoy it. Like, favorite holiday of the year is Christmas. Like, I live for Christmas. Like, people that know me, I'm a Christmas person through and through. I don't care about getting anything for Christmas. Like, that's what I hate the most about Christmas. I just love getting things for people. I love, like, things that people, like, dream of having, like, that I can be a piece in the puzzle to give that to them in life. And it's something that, like, my favorite thing in life is getting things for Madison and making Madison's dreams become a reality. Like, I live for it day in and day out. And the leadership side, like, if I could say that probably the top accolade I have, or the top thing that, like, brings me the most joy, was there's so many business owners you run into that they're like, oh, you wear a nice fucking watch. Like, buying the Basement Group all new Rolexes was I dreamed of that the day I opened, when I had no employees. Like, I was like, dude, I cannot wait till the day that I can buy someone else a fucking watch. And I remember going in and buying watches when I had no fucking money. I'm like sitting there, I'm like, fuck. I'm like, I don't know how to make payroll next week, but I told them I was buying this watch today, and I'm like gifting this watch, and everyone's super excited about it. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, I got a lot of things to figure out, but I hope you love it. But it was like, and Madison's always known, she's like, you would give everything for that one experience to watch someone win. And I think that's why I like the marketing world so much, was getting to see business owners win. And I have the same conversation so many times a week that marketing doesn't fix all. But when we find people that have great product and great service, and we get to show the world, they win. It happens over and over and over. And it's like, I think it fulfills that piece of me that, like, I think that's why I get so much fulfillment out of marketing. And, like, still today, in 5.5 years, one of the coolest things I've ever got to do was you getting that truck out in front of my house. Like, I love that. Like, you know how easy it would be if I took all the watches that I bought for leadership, the truck, I took all those things back. It's really easy to spend that money on yourself. It's also really easy for people to get lost in, oh, Dane bought a new house. Oh, Dane got this car, whatever it may be. There's also a thing called fucking taxes that people have to understand how that shit works. So if you want to deep dive into fucking business, that could be a whole nother podcast on fucking business taxes, which, like, there's levels of business that it starts off. Like, one day there's going to be, in the near future, there's going to be a day that we buy a jet. You know how there'll probably be a day that we purchase that jet and somebody's going to fucking quit. Somebody's going to be like, Dane fucking bought a jet. He could pay me more. Like,
Yeah, because that's how that works.
Yeah.
That's how that works.
It was your raise or this jet, and you know what?
like, or
Just Scrooge McDuck over here, just sitting on all his fucking money.
Which I also don't want to say I like fault people for that, because we live in a society that looks at it and has made villains of anybody that does well.
There's
If-
also
Hold on. If you make it playing sports, you're fine. If you do it via business, you're a fucking criminal. Everybody under the sun praises Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce. They're the best humans that have walked the planet.
Anything entertainment.
Yep. If you do it entertainment-wise, celebrities, we're cool with it. Oh, you got fucking 4 houses across the country? Awesome. Oh, you're in business and you made money? Fuck you, you're a criminal. Like, wild society we live in. But it's what Washington has pressed forever, that, oh, if you're wealthy, you don't pay any taxes. I'm like, no, you know, the celebrities you watch, they do the same shit. The athletes, they have managers that do the same things. Like, everyone is utilizing the tax codes that are put in our world because they want to keep the top side of money moving. What they don't want is the wealthy people of the country, the business owners, the celebrities, the athletes, to acquire all this money and just house it in a bank account because they're like, well, it's the same. They want them to go spend it. Spend it on cars, spend it on planes, spend it on whatever you can, housing, real estate, spend the money.
I knew I shouldn't have made this joke because we started this conversation on seeing other people win, and now we just went down a whole other path.
We went down a rabbit hole.
People want to see you lose.
There are a lot of people that want to see you lose, but I think the greatest thing in the world is seeing other people win. Like, I cheer for athletes. I cheer, like, we have Wanye Morris come to our social hour. He is somebody that we ran into. Shout out Wanye.
Cool as shit.
Like, one of the most down-to-earth dudes. And he is cheering for everybody.
100%.
I'm cheering for him to win on everything that dude does. Like, 200%. If Wanye wins in life, how does that affect my life? If Alex wins in life, how does that affect my life? If Ricky wins, I'm cheering for Ricky to win every single day. And it's crazy. We had people that left MMG. And like, you just want me to win because then you'd win. I'm like, wild.
What's wrong with that? Like, we're both winning.
I'm like, dude, I'm giving you every resource under the moon to win. Sun or moon, whatever you want to be under.
Both of them.
Both of them. I'm like, you have all these resources, but he goes, you talk to me for 2 hours every week and you do all this stuff just so I can win, so then you can win. I'm like, does that sound as crazy to you as it sounds to me? Like, I don't get it. Like, I want to sit at a table that everybody's winning.
Yeah, in that equation, I didn't hear anybody losing.
Exactly.
Unless I'm missing something.
Yeah.
if you win, you're obviously winning better than me. Like, we're all winning.
Like, I don't care how great someone wins. Like, once again, like,
Hey, Elon Musk is winning better than us.
so when
okay?
you buy a
He is
Tesla,
winning.
when you buy a Tesla and the homeboy's like almost a trillionaire, you're like, you know what? I'm not doing this because Elon's winning. Nope. Plenty of people still go out and buy Teslas. Plenty of them. Oh, we still want to go to outer space? Great. Elon's doing it. Like, when you get, there's like a middle area. If you get so big that it's like untouchable money, then they don't care.
Yeah, they're like, oh, can you believe Bezos?
If
I
you
have
get
3 things in my Amazon card, but I'm still probably going to buy it.
Fuck Bezos. Okay, I'll order that today. I get it today at 2. Okay, perfect.
I can pay $4 and I'll be here this morning. Okay.
I did see maybe it was something on the news. They're actually starting the drone,
I saw that.
Drone
package
delivery?
deliveries.
Yep.
Yeah.
Kansas City.
Shout out Bezos. I think it's Kansas City. Yeah.
Yeah, we got like one
They're
of the biggest
huge.
facilities here.
They're
Yeah.
not like small drones. They're like, makes sense. They have to carry packages. They're pretty big.
I can get
Yeah,
same.
it looks like a helicopter coming over
It
your
does.
house.
I can get same day delivery now. Never had that before. I
Yeah.
ordered something the other day and it came in 3 hours. I was like, dude, city life, kind of cool.
Yeah, kind of wild. But ultimately, I cheer for Bezos to win. Good for that dude. Like, he shows that it's possible. He shows that he took something from a garage to make that a reality. So, like, those are the pillars and those are the people that you look at, the Mark Zuckerbergs. And I don't care, like, so many people also get caught up in, like, a political state. of like, oh, this person's that way, they had to do something wrong. Oh, this person's that way, they had to do something wrong. I'm like, what about just cheering for people? Like, regardless of where they stand. They went from 0 to 1,000, and you thought the top side level was 10. They showed that that was possible. Walt Disney showed that a dream can become something so much bigger. There's so many of these people that Henry Ford was going against. There used to be a patent on vehicles to where you couldn't mass produce, and he has a full factory set up, and they're going after a courtroom pretty much that the day that if that gets vetoed, everything he has is gone. Every single square inch of everything he goes bankrupt the next day, all of it's squashed. And he bets all of it. It's possible over and over and over. It's a mindset that you can take and say, Ricky and I went to Utah. Frisella got up. What was the first thing he said?
What was it?
If you can't cheer for other people's success, you'll never find your own. I remember that to a fucking T when he got up there. He goes, if you take anything from this whole entire event, if you can't cheer for other people's success, you'll never find your own. And that rings so true over and over and over. That I cheer for everybody to win. I don't even care if I don't like you. There's people that have been in the walls of MMG that have went on to do their own things, and I still cheer for them to win. I've had people call that have given me it would be the perfect opportunity to talk shit and say, do not fucking do it, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, hey, that sounds like a great deal you should work with, blah, blah, blah. Am I going to put my name up and sign off on the deal? Absolutely not. I still cheer for them to win. Life is way too short to cheer for people to lose. There's people that get up every day in a negative mindset that, like, I don't get how people get on social media and just fucking talk negatively all day. Like, I don't understand it.
Neither do I. But on the beauty of MMG is in all the hate that we will get online and the negative comments, we've done a really good job of not feeding into that, I would like to think. But just in reflection of 2025 and more of a pointed question, thinking about the things that you've personally experienced at MMG, thinking about other people in the walls, what is a moment or two that really stands out to you guys that says 2025 has really set us up for an even bigger year in 2026? Like a proud moment, a moment of success. It could be at a macro level, or it could be something small where you're like, that right there, while being a small moment, does show a big sign of difference.
I'll actually take this one first.
Whoa.
Come out swinging.
Now, I've had probably 3 individuals that came in my office. They're like, you got a minute, sit down. And they actually wanted to better themselves in their personal life. And some of them have tendencies they know are bother other individuals. And they're like, I don't know how to fix this. So they're actively seeking help to become a better individual, whether it's business, personal life, stuff like that. They're seeking help. And we've built a culture where they can go to individuals within the company and ask to get that help. It's not a judgment thing. It's something they're like, I don't know what to do. I feel like you're the best to advise me on how to move forward in this situation. And we're able to advise and give input and do checkups where I told them, like, do this for 2 weeks. It's a atomic habit. Just change one little thing at a time. Don't change who you are, but change one little thing at a time and see how it works. And I'm like, come check back with me and see how that helps you, good or bad. I'm like, I want to hear. And multiple individuals have changed little things about them that for the better for them personally, that have helped in their personal relationships, have helped within the walls. So in 2025, I think that is something that if we have one individual that wants to better themselves, and us not telling it's like, hey, let's do this, they're actively seeking to become a better person, I think that's a win for 2025.
And that's also a testament to that you've built up that level of trust and you've shown yourself to be authentic enough to where they felt confident enough to come to you and be in a vulnerable state and say, hey, I'm struggling with this and I trust that you will help me, and not come from a place of judgment. So while that is great for them, that's also a tip of the cap to you that you've built that relationship with people in the office, that they feel confident that they can come to you and have that conversation, that you're going to meet them right where they're at. So just going to also give that compliment back to you on that. What are you guys thinking?
Yeah, I'm really excited to see how many people we have on the team that are just so fully bought in. And it really seems like they see a career at MMG and they see the bigger picture. And that's exciting. It's exciting to have so many people that are rowing on that same boat.
I'll piggyback off kind of both of them. And then I also want your input on this question.
We haven't. He hasn't.
Yeah,
given
I
any
know.
input on the-
He
asked
but
the questions,
really
like,
good questions,
nice.
Yeah, really good questions. Like I was literally like sitting there thinking, I'm like, I think Alex might be securing a spot for all podcasts because I think he's better than me at this. So
Like getting vetoed for another 40 episodes.
yeah, you've also
him off
lost
his
your
own spot in the
get the
podcast.
fuck out. Alex, take your spot. But 2025, what I'm going to give all of it to is our content team. I am hats off to those dudes, and to Ricky's point of the buy-in, Dre's point of them actively wanting to better themselves, actively wanting and seeking development, growth, the whole nine. They have just been dialed in as a group. It's not a every man for themselves that I think some people know, but I don't think all people know that like 2024 was a tough year for us from a content side. And you have ad agencies out there, you have media groups that tend to live in their own, they're kind of siloed as separates. And I really thought I was on the forefront of building this golden bridge between the two. And end of 24, I really was like, I'm nowhere near building this golden bridge to bring these two parties together. And I think that's why I have so much confidence in where we're at now is we got an amazing group of people, and they're good human beings, and they want the betterment for the people around them. And I think that's what we were missing the first time it was just a bunch of people that cared about themselves and nobody else around them, and it showed through in what happened. So we had a large group of people that went out that they thought they were going to come against MMG, but they couldn't work together within 60 days. So, I don't know. Our content team, they're the right ones, and I'm really impressed with who they are as people and what they're doing as a group, and it's cool to watch. So the last group when we made somebody a manager and everybody was pissed because they weren't that person. We've now started elevating people, and it's because the people around them said that that's the person that we want to follow. So watching that I think for a long time I was really nervous about what that looked like, and just a sour taste in my mouth of kind of what that was going to be, but they're dogs.
Yeah, I mean, I guess for me, like reflecting on 2025, I was spread across, all departments, not equally, but I was still involved in sales, involved in marketing, but getting content and everything that we did creatively moving the way that it needed to be moving was one of my higher priorities as far as the entire company is concerned. And I think one of my proudest moments was being able to fully step away from the team and say, you guys have got it and you don't need me. And I feel like there was a little bit, I could tell from conversations, they felt a little bit uneasy about that. And I feel like I've not been gone very long whatsoever. And they're already operating at a point of, I don't get a lot of messages. I don't get a lot of questions. They're going to stumble 100%. They definitely are. But the fact that I felt so confident about stepping away, but also too, there is the fact that Lauren needs her flowers in this, because Lauren was also one of the other huge people in turning the ship around with that creative team. And that does not get acknowledged enough, is that she had to go in there and really make things happen with me. And she played a crucial role in turning the tides with that room. But now we have the right structure, the right leadership, the right personnel on that team to make that all work. And that's a hard space to work within, when a lot of people from the creative space are very inconsistent, very much like, I'll do it when I feel like. We have really hit the jackpot on the team there. So I will say that that's really one of my proud moments of 2025, is being able to fully step away from that team with 110% certainty that they've got it under control, and that I am now just a safety net for them, and now I can divert my priorities elsewhere.
The coolest part about that whole statement is that you call them a team.
Because they truly operate as a fucking team. Like, they want to see each other win, and it is not about throwing each other under the bus to try to get an inch or a mile ahead of the next person. Those guys truly show up for each other. I sat in on a meeting last week, and we talked about a shoot that was going to happen after hours this week, and they were like, hey, what time do you want to get together this weekend to hang out and talk about the shoot? Could you imagine?
So some
they
days
do that by choice.
Some days I like drive in and I'm like, I don't know, like I always, our dad told us growing up, he's like, good things happen to good people, and I've always like looked at, I feel like some days that things just look like they feel like they're going too well, that I'm like, but I think it's us pouring into those people. I think it's us doing the things that ultimately there's no financial win to it. There's things that we do that you can't judge it on a P&L. And the funny thing is, we've had meetings with banks that we've been in positions where MMG's losing a bunch of money and banks are like, absolutely not. And then I can call somebody that we know that has watched MMG scale and watched all the things we're doing and watched the people around us develop. And they're like, I'll bet anything on this. I've really had people that they're like, I don't care what your financials look like. I know the people of MMG and I know what MMG is doing. How much money do you need? And that's like the validation that, go read Shoe Dog by Phil Knight. He talks about like the early days, he was declined by like every single bank. They didn't like how fast he was growing, like everything he was doing. Like there was a spot that wasn't making any money, and it was like all things were in the like
so many examples of that. J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter was turned down
OpenAI's like losing, like I think there was a point where they were losing $33 million a day. But people were investing from every different direction. If you took that financial and you walked into a bank, they would literally be like, you lost your marbles.
Yeah, the bank is only betting on sure wins. Yeah.
Yeah. The bank sits there, they have the most like
you're growing at 2% a year? You're questionable.
Right.
But no, I think I got off on tangent on banks there. We don't want to go down that rabbit hole.
I will say.
Next question.
Ahead.
Alex is doing good here. I like where we're going.
You haven't did Ricky answer?
Yeah, I already answered.
You blacked out for a minute, but you're back. I guess it was that great that you remember it. Next question.
We've talked a little bit about 2025, moving now into 2026. Speaking of the future of MMG, what is it about what we do for our staff and what we do for our people? Because we've talked quite a bit about how much we care for the teams that we have. We love seeing the development and the growth that they're having. We get excited seeing other people win. And this might be something where we might be getting a little ahead of ourselves and talking about more ideas than anything. But what are some things that you're excited about in 2026, thinking about the development and the growth of the company, specifically how it impacts the people within the walls?
We're going to be doubling our energy drink fund probably here shortly.
No, we're not.
With how much we're spending, it's lasting about 5 days.
We spend a lot of money on energy drinks.
And they're not lasting very long anymore.
We are going to
So
have to
right
start
now-
coming. Some
Right
people need
now,
to get cut off.
we have breached the mark that our energy drinks a month is almost equivalent to a Lamborghini payment.
That's a reel. Xavier,
Cut it.
cut that into a reel.
Yeah. So, yeah.
So next year there'll be 2 Lamborghinis.
Pretty wild. So we keep hiring more people, but the energy drinks, we've really, I mean, when you're spending $500-$600 a week on energy drinks,
That's not sexy on a P&L.
no, that's a hard number to justify.
So what I'm hearing is MMG's having a product launch with our first energy drink.
We should partner
Ooh,
with
that's a good idea.
that is a great
Problem
idea.
solved.
I think Ricky's new thing should be launching our own energy drink line.
I like it.
They're gonna be like, so how are
There
your
you
go.
sales?
Like it.
We sold 5%. 95 was consumed by the company. So
Our company,
great.
We just buy our
But
own
it actually
supply.
We should just buy caffeine powder.
That
what was the
does not
question?
taste
Back up
nearly
to the
as good.
question. We got off track.
That's all right. We're circling it back
In
here.
the walls, benefits.
We're thinking
What?
specifically about opportunities for our staff and our team, our group to win in 2026. What are the opportunities that get you excited about growth, development of the people within the walls?
So I think a lot of times when I think about that, that's a hard question to answer because I've never been great at really wrapping my head around the scale and the speed. That if you showed me all the opportunities that came this year and the opportunities that are coming right now, at the beginning of the year, I wouldn't even told you like that I knew those were going to be there.
I don't think we
And-
would have had First Fridays even.
But it's
Like,
just
that was something we implemented this year, and that's something that we do for the team.
ultimately too, though, as a company as a whole, I want people to love their jobs. I think that's a mindset that I have struggled with a lot of people on what that mindset looks like, because there's a lot of people that will position in their head that when their personal life is going awry, it's due to their work life. Most of the time, it tends to be the other way. It's taken me a long time to realize that. So they have a lot of things falling apart in their personal life, so they start saying, okay, hey, maybe it's my work life that's the problem. And I look at the things that we do as a business, like we're not sticklers on PTO. We have First Fridays. Realistically, we're a very result-driven company. If you're a great result-driven person, life's pretty good. If you're not meeting it's funny, when people start drowning at MMG, they drown really fast. When people start drowning, they're missing deadlines, they're missing all the things. Clients start getting on their case, like all these things. Management gets on their case, and all of a sudden, we're all assholes like overnight, and then it's like their whole world crumples down around them. And if somebody out there has a way to fix that, I'm all in. Send it over, DM, email me, send me a postcard. I don't care how it gets to me. But I feel like when people's like worlds fall apart, it falls apart in all aspects. And I would like to get to a day that we're not driven by hours. That's like my North Star of MMG, is that we have so many people that are bought in on a common goal and a common vision that hours become irrelevant. And it's hard when I speak of that because I can speak of that in a group here. There's also times I've spoke about that to people, and then they think that's like next week. I'm like, no.
So I'm off Friday.
Yeah, so they're like, is it cool if I just don't come in Friday because I have my shit done? I'm like, no, like you can't play favorites on one part of the company and not the other part of the company, but it's one of those things that I would like by the time that the Fantasy Factory becomes open. And
We go to 7-day weeks, so I
Yeah.
can hang out there
Full
every
time.
day.
But I want to build a ecosystem of a company that will have so many different things integrated in it that people want to be at work and people want to be there for everything. And I think people want to be at work now.
But you're describing like a Google campus essentially, to where it's like people find joy in being there.
100%.
That's essentially what Google has created there. Is that like they have their own rec leagues and they have their own community-based events, and they have like we've talked before about like special interest groups. Like I'm huge in the nonprofit space and I love that. And there's a lot of people in MMG who are also very philanthropic and community service based, where I'm like, I would love to lead a group of people in MMG just in that as a thing that we do, right? And we get people involved in it, and kind of creating that sense of community within MMG to where this goes beyond where you collect a paycheck every 2 weeks.
100%. And that's a vision that I have out there. And it's something that I think we're a lot closer to it now today than we were 5.5 years ago.
I mean, even just the fact that you now have a home gym to where it's now like, hey, if you are MMG or MMG affiliated, you come here, you work out with us, you spend
Not
time with us.
everybody MMG affiliated yet. I'm working on finishing the gym. But I've started with a small group. One, I also need to get myself in check.
He kicked some of us out already.
No. Dre has been invited like 4 times and never shown up. So he just
you kicked yourself out.
Yeah.
I was busy.
Sleeping.
It's the new address. The invitation just didn't go to the right spot.
Yeah.
But
still waiting on it.
It's one of those things that, like, I mean, Ricky and I have talked about the opportunities that the gym's going to bring come next year. And I've looked at the opportunities that this space gives me. And just a lot of those things as a company that the Fantasy Factory has always been a vision of mine, not from fully a business perspective. Like, actually, realistically, if you ask me about it, it has like nothing to do with business. It's just a place. Like, the Fantasy Factory is a place where people love to be. That's ultimately what it's built to be.
It's like Disney World, but only employees.
But if it's like, people ask about marketing all the time, and people are like, are you just like crazy passionate about marketing? I was like, I'm crazy passionate about helping people. Marketing just tends to be the vessel for it.
Because I feel like you're hitting on something right now that I've always aligned with for a long time, and I want to take what you're saying and bottle it up for you. So I remember early on in my career when I was a consultant and as a director, I would travel around and people would constantly talk to you about, hey, what are the things that are most important to you? Like, what are the things that drive you, right? And Rick is, to me, a perfect embodiment of someone who has a North Star and has it fucking figured out, right? Like, I'm sure that you waver at times on little things, but this man has a North Star and he runs 100 miles an hour at his North Star, right? To me, I've always summarized mine, and you actually have just hit on all 3 of them in 3, like, danced around different ways. But I've always thought about mine as like places, people, and purpose. So like I've always looked for places that I want to be, places I want to surround myself with the right people. And then I always want to be around people that have purpose, right? You can be good people that are just around. You're just floating around in the ether of the world, but the people who have a purpose that aligns with mine. So it's about people, places, and purpose. And that's something that's really just stuck out about what you said. I was like, you're really saying the same stuff that I think about when I think about things that matter to me, is you're talking about the people and establishing a place where people can find that passion and things that they are passionate about. And you said, like, I'm not passionate about marketing, but I'm passionate about the people and having them in the place together.
And I don't know, I think the craziest thing, and I always like kind of go back to Rob Dyrdek's Fantasy Factory, was for like the longest time I watched it, and I had no earthly idea what Rob Dyrdek did.
It looked like he just had fun with his friends and was doing some kind of business.
Yeah, I thought Moss Marketing Group was a pyramid scheme for the longest. I was like, these guys are definitely running an MLM for sure.
Once you get into the pyramid scheme, you don't even know.
Yeah, as
Well,
long as
I had somebody ask me
like,
about it too. They're like, did you join the pyramid scheme? I'm like, believe it or not, it's actually not a pyramid scheme.
Yeah.
I thought it was too.
He's like, just so you know, I got kind of high up in it, so I'm getting paid.
Would you like to join? It's $100 a month, and you could sell DirecTV too, just like I do.
Yeah. Do you want to be downline for me? You're downline.
When you go
Watch
in
out.
and onboard, you have to say, "I brought you in." Okay?
Yeah. But no, it's like, I think that's also a big indicator of when people go out and win in the world. Is like, what's the purpose and the why behind what they're doing? When people go out and they're just strictly doing it for a financial win, I think a lot of times it doesn't pan out super well. Sometimes they might find the finances, but they become so obsessed with it that they will lose everything else in life. And when I revert way back to the beginning of this podcast, when we talk about like not losing myself, is I never want to lose sight in that the why behind MMG and that thing that I've always dreamed of is just, and it's crazy because when I talk about what I dream of, like I feel like I live it every day when I go into our offices. And I think that's why HQ holds so much meaning behind, because I feel like it's so close to what that was. And I feel like I try to like fabricate it in my mind to being like, we're already experiencing it, just not to the level of what I want it to be. It's got the barbershop, it's got that, but like there'll be a day that there's chefs in MMG every day making lunch for everybody. And I can't wait till one day at lunchtime is 150, 200 people.
We got the full cafeteria build out. Yeah.
Yeah. Like it's like a high school. Like but it's like people that want to be there. And it's people that are like,
Patty Day on Wednesday.
Yo, hey, listen, no, never disrespect CPD, all right? I fuck with Chicken Patty Day.
Dude, like every day is like super like gourmet except for Wednesday's chicken patty day, just basic gravy. Like,
and if you fucking complain, fuck you.
Yeah,
because
fired.
Chicken Patty Day
I'm gonna
is
give
the
a
best.
speech every day. Like you complain today, you're fired. But it's like,
don't come for CPD.
I just think about how cool that would be. Like one day when we have like basketball courts, like people are in there, like you have like rec basketball going on. You have like gyms that people are like, dude, I just want to live at my work. Like, cause it's that great.
That's what I'm saying. Like every time you talk about this, like every time you talk about the Fantasy Factory, I'm talking, as you talk about it, I think like that's just like our version of a Google campus.
Yeah.
To where it's just like,
except for there's going to be way more athletes there.
Way more athletic, a lot less engineers,
athletic ability,
a lot less overpaid engineers who get then laid off for 6 months, and then 2,000 of them get hired, and then 1,800 of them get laid off again.
So I don't actually want it as like, I feel like when I see videos of the Google campus, and once again, I'm not going to say I'm super knowledgeable on it, but I feel like people are very isolated. People like being on their own. It's very like introverted people. It's like,
but that's why they do all that stuff is to force them into having a sense of
there's a lot of psychology
because
why
they all are isolated.
You get free dinner on Google campus, which is it's 6:30 or 7. Everyone's off at 5, but it's to keep you there for an extra hour and a half, 2 hours to keep working. So like the psychology behind everything they do makes a ton of sense.
Yeah, I'm not going to say Google's done by any means. I'm not saying
you targeting Google right now.
Yeah, but what I'm just saying is the MMG Fantasy Factory looks different than the Google, what they've done.
Similar in some concepts.
So
is all I was saying.
The wild thing is almost every morning, like when I get ready in the morning, I sit down and I take like 3 minutes. 5 minutes would be a stretch. I don't think it's that long. But like I close my eyes and I see the Fantasy Factory. Like I know exactly what it looks like. I walk into that thing every morning. Like when I go to the,
and Alex has a really nice office. Alex has a really nice office.
The wild thing is like I really wish there was a way that you could take like something in here. I could put it to like actually
ChatGPT.
No, it's like I've tried. I have images of it, but I'm like it does not look like that. Like
I know that's not it.
It's on my iPad, and people are like, "That's sick." I'm like, "Yeah, I promise you, when you see it, it's gonna be way fun cooler than that." I'm like, "That's just what I need." Like a architect to help me because I know what the structure of it looks like. I know walking through it, like I can see where the like not cafeteria. I don't like calling cafeteria. It feels like I'm in high school, but like where the food court like type area is. I know where
Panda,
like offices
Chipotle.
are. I know like I can feel walking through it every day, and it sounds fucking crazy to most people. But that's why it's so clear in my head. I'm like, I know my value in the whole company is that one vision that I have. That one vision I have walking through that building is I know my like main value point.
So
And whatever I have to do to make that a reality, I know that that reality will create so much success for everyone else. In every way, shape, and form.
Thanks for listening to the M3 Podcast. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. Want to learn more? Check us out on Instagram at Moss Marketing Group, on Facebook at Moss Marketing 58, or on our website at mossmarketinggroup.com.